Fucking recording. Sorry, I'm going to start that again. Can you hear me? Because I had my microphone.
Yeah, no, it's perfect, mate.
I can hear you.
Such a Rodney. Welcome to the second podcast, the Filthy Clean Pod. Today we're talking about business development, and we have Jon, our business development manager, with us, and obviously Chris and myself. We hope you enjoyed the first pilot podcast. We all really enjoyed it, and the feedback that we've had from that has been fantastic. So please keep them comments and their messages coming. But yeah, so today we would like to introduce Jon as our BDM. If you don't know what a BDM is, it's a business development manager. It means Jon's in charge of connecting with new people, building relationships on the connections we already have, and essentially just pushing the business forward. So yeah, with that, I'd like to introduce Jon.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose I've made the odd appearance on the early video when we were sort of piloting the GoPros out of the cars and whatever. But yeah, I mean, in terms of me and, I mean, what do you want to know, the background or?
Yeah, so like, if we start with like the background of, where you've come from, what you've done previous, and how you've got to RedClean.
I mean, yeah, to start off with, it sort of began with just I think I messaged you, didn't I? Because I see that there was an advert going out for, it was a window cleaning position at the time. I was in a job where it was a little bit more sort of dead end, a bit more, wanted that sales side of things, and yeah, that's how it came about.
Yeah, so I remember the phone call. I was pretty shocked that you wanted to
Both
come
were
and...
shocked, actually, to be honest, weren't we? So
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, the original phone call was just that, Jon had seen some positions that we had advertised for window cleaners. And, the one thing that I've always known about Jon, obviously he's our cousin, so it's a family connection. But Jon has always been a very personable guy, a very likeable guy. And from my own experience with sales, I can't stand pushy, shades on, soft top.
So we got Jon in today.
So we got Jon in. But no, just, I just think that's old hat. I really do. For me, good salespeople are good at building relationships, and they're good at connecting with people. And then from there, you see what their problems are, how you can help them out, and that sort of stuff. So with Jon, I mean, Jon's only, you're 28 now, aren't you? 28. But when you joined us, you were 25, was that correct?
Yeah, pretty much 3 years ago.
So still very young. I know he's baby-faced as well, so he probably thinks about 18. But it's the hair. The hair makes him look older. Well, that's what we think anyway. It takes a certain person to obviously be in sales and to be able to do that. And as a family, we're all sort of very competitive, and we've all got that competitive edge, haven't we?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Like darts the other night, you were getting a right ump, you know?
Don't like losing.
Still did 2-1 though. Gotcha.
They have it this week.
But anyway, yeah. So the competitive side is sort of ingrained in us. So when it comes to Jon, after a few conversations, I really thought that he would be a great salesperson. But I think in your last role, you were saying that you were kind of touching on that, but you wanted to do more of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I mean, I actually remember conversations with you guys like years before, because you'd always be sort of, if we were catching up, what you doing, or I've been in loads of different sort of jobs after uni and everything, and I always remember there was a few times really you'd be like, sort of, what are you doing? Or
you were just trying to find your way, though, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
and
everyone's young,
exactly.
Yeah, and it was a case of sort of, okay, well, what's the plan? And sometimes there weren't always that plan or whatever. So the last place, it was. It was more a membership sort of thing, but I was in the marketing sort of communications team, so a lot of it was about building sort of revenues and whatever's. But my sort of contribution to that was more the ticking over of it, as opposed to acquiring the new business. So there was always that vision, I guess, of, okay, well, these are how we're doing it. And I sort of remember speaking to you about that at the start, as to, well, this is what we're doing at this place. This is what we can look to do here, really. So
I think at age, you left sort of uni and that, didn't you? What did you do there? Was it sports?
Well, yeah, it was a sports background, really. I was always always football, sports. That was all I sort of knew growing up, really. And then when that sort of didn't come to anything, it was a go to uni. But then even that off the back of uni, because it was a sport and PE course that I did, that's why I was looking to go down the sports avenue, really. But then when it turns out that actually some of the jobs I was looking at, there wasn't that progression there, really, which is what I was looking for. So
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's one word we can say that you've definitely done here, and that is progressed, It's it's been fantastic, do you know what I mean? But like I say, yeah, it was. I definitely thought you had the good, the bases, all the basics that it needs to be able to be a good salesman, and you're just thriving. I mean, from our perspective, it's been brilliant, hasn't it?
100%. I mean, I remember the first sort of time you come to see us and stuff like that. Being honest with you, is that we had many a phone call, didn't we, for the next sort of night or two, because you're family. We wanted you to succeed, and it's always hard bringing someone into you that's obviously family as well, because you obviously want to see you succeed, And like you say, since you've come in here, you just got better and better.
I think that's probably why it's made it succeed, because, no disrespect, I think that for the first few 3 to 6 months where you were really finding your feet and there wasn't really a lot coming in.
Always hard to start though.
Yeah,
a job.
I know that. And it's the first time.
You'd be.
Come
on, man.
John,
I'm patient.
Laid back, John. That's all right, man. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
Just come on. Just leave it with me.
What you got?
But no, I mean, what we did there, obviously, at the time we advertised for a BDM. At that time, we had a big database, didn't we? We had a lot of clients that we weren't sort of pushing for more work. And that's where you did come in, didn't you? You had a sort of good existing database where you did sort of start phoning certain companies.
That was the start of it. But really, yeah, it was, I mean, for me, I'd always knew that we weren't attacking commercial as we should be.
Definitely.
For us, we sort of, I think as we explained in the last podcast, we were predominantly window cleaners, and even more so when John joined us 3 years ago. We now sort of, rebranded as exterior cleaners. We do everything, that's on the exterior of a building. But one part that we weren't really nailing was the commercial side of it, like the window cleaning that. We have got commercial clients. We've done all sorts of commercial cleans, very big cleans. But it's only really where it's organically come to us through websites, word of mouth, whatever it is. And I wanted that to be exercised where we can go and get more of that and to build that. So, but yeah, I think you kind of sort of started with that, did you? And then you've sort of moved things around a bit. And
yeah, I mean, from obviously what I remember, it was starting with what we had, and obviously trying to develop anything there and see if there was any, finding the best links and just not only that, but I think at the start I wanted to just make sure everything was running okay with them. Like it's you sort of bit of a sort of account manager in that sense. You just want to make sure that they're happy with services, etc. But then it was sometimes you'd speak to one that can then open doors to more. And then it was a case of obviously maximising what we could do with what we
our existing database
currently have.
Yeah.
But then, once we know we're doing everything we can with obviously everyone we service, then looking for more.
Yeah.
And one thing we were sort of struggling to do as well with the time factor is that seeing clients on site. That's allowed yourself, and the connections you've got, obviously with the work that we had, we weren't going out enough at the time, were we, to see, on site, supervisors,
just building them relationships.
Just building that relationship. We did have a relationship, but not to the extent we've got now with a lot of customers, And again, that's where you've stepped in and done well, and you started building those nice links, didn't you?
Well, it's good to get out on site as well. It's good to get out there and meet people face to face and just build on that, because then sometimes it's them sort of informal conversations you can have with them that then leads to more stuff, as opposed to just the odd phone call or email or whatever. So yeah.
Okay. So the importance of client relationships. Obviously, we're talking a bit about going out on site and having them sort of conversations with people and building that. But realistically, them client relationships don't just stop with John, do they? It's about all of us, and it's about
a daily task. To be quite honest, sort of every single phone call we get, obviously every job we want to do, we want to make sure every customer's basically happy on that job.
Yeah.
As I say, we are human. We make mistakes sometimes on site or whatever else. Or one of the lads will go out and clean a wrong window in error, But as I say, we're here. We go back, we rectify it, and obviously do our utmost best to obviously make sure those customers are happy.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? So obviously you've got John's part where he's out there trying to develop that and grow that, but then obviously there's the back end of that is making sure they're happy.
We try
once
to sustain it,
and that's,
you know.
Yeah, and that's it. We're, I'm learning on that front as well. Every time, normally on a job, there's something I'm learning. So, if we haven't quite done something right, or if there's anything to rectify, it's just making sure everything's good with everybody and we get the job done. And then it's just building them relationships. And if we do need to rectify something one way or another, we'll sort it out.
Because I think the biggest learning curve definitely this year has been, we've been highly vocal, especially through LinkedIn, about a contract that we carried out where essentially we've lost £30,000 on it, and unfortunately,
Still having nightmares now, John.
Make me start sweating up.
But it wasn't just that though. It was going through it. I mean, me personally, I wanted to get out of there a lot sooner. Never, ever, ever have pulled a team off a job ever, but the client that we was working for were just, unrealistic in their expectations, micromanaging our lads, moving the goalposts of what was agreed, and it was just hell. And when I say hell, capital H, hell. It's like, all our team were getting harassed each day on site.
All of our time, though, didn't it? I mean, yourself, obviously, being a BDM, 60% of your day was dealing with problems.
Some of it was a bit of a blur, really, because you was dealing with that in amongst everything else.
And then you had the background with that. You had, obviously, Rory getting his side, obviously, our side as well. Very straining.
But from an outsider looking in, and I can say an outsider looking in, because I was distant from it. I didn't have any real involvement in it, but I could see the strain and the stress and the bickering really that the team were doing, and we don't work that way. I'm not saying that everyone's really happy every day. We know it's hard graft and we know it's a hard job, but overall we try to keep it as harmonious as possible, carrying out the work we do, just to make sure everyone's engaged and they're motivated to get things done. But this honestly was like a black cloud hanging over us, and it was just relentless, like emails backwards and forwards and just dictatorship, and it was terrible. And
it's not only that as well, though. I mean, it was like some mornings you're more so down some early mornings more than me, and you were saying, Rory was saying that the lads were just not looking forward to come to work. I've never seen that, never experienced it. Yes, sometimes you get the odd thing, not looking forward today, as everyone does, But yeah, during that time, it was horrible.
It absolutely drained everyone.
It did drain everyone from ourselves to the lads on site. Just weren't nice to see, weren't nice to go through. But like you say, it was like black cloud that was, wasn't it? It was just, yeah.
I mean, what did you really learn from that? On a business development front, because I think we learn, on an operations front, on a business development front, on a management front, on a workers front. It's because it all kind of become blurred, didn't it? Everyone was trying to just get through the bloody
thing. It was literally in a bubble, all of us, in our own way, dealing with it. It was just
horrendous.
It was, to be blunt.
For me, overall, like project management, that was, we were probably getting deeper and deeper into it as well, and it was a case of,
that's what I wanted to get.
It was trying to fight our way out.
Yeah,
and we discussed it. We every day. It was what do we do? We was trying to get out of it, But
we was also trying to help as much as possible. I think that's where some of the problem.
I think that's where the problem was for me, is because obviously we don't want to walk out. We want to get a job done correctly, and we want to go above and beyond. But I just knew that the kind of people we were dealing with would just take, and it would just never be enough. And like we were just getting in thicker and thicker. And that was the problem for me. But I understood, you would like sort of really trying to fight the corner of trying to mediate, I suppose, and to try and get things done. But it
was simply to keep them happy. And it was that, we was getting dictated to, they had set plan each day. This is what, wasn't it? Day 1, day 2, day 3.
But it wasn't what we quoted for.
And it was, and it all just went out of pots, didn't it? And we was literally going there doing a lot of things, not in a quote and not part of the daily task. It went out of portion, didn't it, really?
And I think to go back to sort of what I learnt most about that, it was to not get lost in the sort of works and revert back to what we are there and have been instructed to do. Yeah. And it's a case of now going forward, we're much more aligned. It
was a big lesson learned, wasn't it?
So many lessons, to be honest, and it was an
most worst experience, but perhaps obviously one of the biggest lessons.
Well, in the nearly 20 years that I've been in this, I mean, I've had some really tough times, and I've had some contracts that I've been involved in where it hasn't worked out. nothing to this extent now. I'm talking minimal. Do you know what I mean? And that was just an absolute drain on everyone, but a massive lesson learned for us all as well.
That's exactly.
But the great thing is, and I suppose that's the positives from it, is everything in business it's just a lesson, and we learn from that all the time. We know then how not to do it and how to do something better and to move forward. But it was just, I thought it was relevant to bring it up because I know it's about business development and that's your role, but it was just about, adversity and something that didn't go right and how we overcome that, It's
I mean, what we always sort of say is, rough with the smooth in that sense.
That was rough.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not smooth at all.
Yeah, bit of an understatement.
Looking for it.
I'm
always trying to look for it. Yeah. So
That's what we get playing every day. Don't be smooth at the end of this. Be smooth.
The
No.
only thing that was smooth was my punch bag I was hitting every day.
It did take us a little time to rescue from that, though, didn't it? It's not. The money itself, it takes a whack.
30 grand's a lot of money,
It really did drain the cash flow and stuff. And obviously we got there in the end as we do. But again, it's just the aftermath of it. It was just not nice either, catching it up.
But that's why, for me, I always wanted to just nip it as quick as I could. Because I could see what it was doing for everyone. And I knew if we could just get ourselves off of there, because you knew that it wasn't going to end well. You knew the kind of people we were dealing with. Was just to get out of there and just move on. And then we can deal with the mess of trying to sort of tie up all the loose ends. But it was just, the problem was all sorts of stuff. Jesus, I couldn't even know where to start with it. But at the end of the day, like we say,
It's not about you now, John.
it was a lesson. Got it on.
I'm getting all stressed now.
Over to you.
It was actually
Going for a lie down now after this.
But no, it was one of them, and thankfully, it's not something that's going to end us or anything like that. It was just a bump in the road. Of course, it was difficult to absorb that sort of loss, but we move on and we keep going forward. So but like I say, I just thought it was something to bring up because it's definitely been part of the journey as well.
It was a big part of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
First part of the year, good 2 or 3 months. I think that was, wasn't it? But I've never seen how a contract can just kill people as much as it was. I mean, our team leader, he was very, very frustrated most days. I even heard that, what's the notice period? And I know that weren't going to happen. It was just said out of anger, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
I think I asked questions as well.
Who said that?
We all asked it. The director, no, we'll talk again 2 weeks. Isn't it? Go here.
It was bad. We can laugh about it
Still
now.
here.
Keys got thrown at the landlord. I think I'd say one thing we did learn from that was obviously the initial step. I think, let's be honest, we was a little bit naive going into it. Obviously, with what we, certain things that we signed and stuff like that.
I knew that was a problem from the start. But in my experience, when you've got someone who's telling you from the company what to do and how to do it, naively took someone's word as gospel, and then obviously that person left mid-contract.
As luck would have it. Yeah.
As luck would have it. And but like I say, I mean, I've personally done business where you don't have to list every single little thing down you're going to do, and you just simply say what you're there to do, you carry it out, you get paid. Job done. But obviously, it was that was the biggest learning curve for us as well, isn't it? Is that obviously anything that needs to be signed off with.
I think it's because we never had a bad experience like that before. I mean, we, like you say, we always do the work. Obviously, get paid for the work that we've done. Again, I say naivety, really. I think obviously on our side, obviously again, lesson to be learnt on that side, as we all know. But yeah, just very difficult to sort of take that in, really.
It is a lesson. I
mean,
we
just took it too trustworthy. And that was the problem.
But learning on my part, again, there's so many more sort of formalities and contracts and small print, pretty much, that we've got to be wary of, and which we are wary of already.
Yeah.
But at the same
time,
and
we always had certain checks at the beginning, certain contracts, stuff like that. But that was just went that one step above what we was checking and stuff, But
at the same time, that's, you're a BDM. You're not there to sign works off, sign contracts off. I know, you got too involved with it. But the good thing
I think
is,
that's exactly how that went. It was a bit of a runaway. It was just quite quickly happened, didn't it, in time, and we was trying to get everything operational in place and stuff like that, and it moved too quick.
But one thing we have done, I mean, just recently we've had another similar contract checked out, haven't we? And we're much clearer about the understanding of that, what the pitfalls are and everything else. So at least we're going into it with our eyes wide open, as opposed to, it's...
But we don't stop on that front. It's like tomorrow morning I'm off to London to see a new site with Rory to check out another potential client. Another big job. So, we're not going to shy away from things, and it's just a kind of just a case of finding our way around it.
That's it. It's just trying to foolproof ourselves more,
of course,
and just getting the right advice from the right people. It's as simple as that, really. And then hopefully we don't get our fingers burnt again. But like we say, it's a learning process. There's so much that we've done that we've learned. It's just all part of the journey, but that was a costly lesson that we don't need to repeat, So it's hopefully we don't, and we just move forward. But so it'd be good to talk about challenges in business development. So what's the kind of general challenges that you face? We obviously know that price can be a big thing. We are sort of trying to build enough trust with people that price isn't such a big thing, but of course it comes into it, doesn't it? So what's the sort of challenges you face in business development?
I mean, trust there, first of all, is definitely one of the key things, really, because I mean, business development as a sort of job in that sense, you're up against a lot of similar roles. Everyone's in it for the same reason. Everyone wants to try and get to places. I mean, in terms of the industry and cleaning, exterior cleaning, it's a very, very populated market, and obviously we're then trying to get to the top and keep progressing. With that comes obviously other companies offering similar services potentially, but for a number of reasons can potentially do it at a much lower cost, as you say. That's then where I think trust levels out with it, because then that's obviously how we can work with them around that.
Yeah, I mean we've got sort of certain targets we need to hit, haven't we? And sometimes you do wonder how people do things cheap, but at the same time, we're not in the business of being cheap. We're in the business of making a sustainable business that can continue growing and developing. So
cheap's not always the way forward either. As we've experienced, we've gone back to some roofs sometimes where people have had a sort of cheaper quote and we've been called in because sometimes the job's not been finished. Not saying that's every case with obviously every job that's like less than ours, but we do believe in you do pay for what you get. So
and we literally spoke about that exact thing this morning with a job I went to, I quoted. Without even sort of discussing it, we've lost a job. Somebody else has gone in at a fraction of the price, supposedly offering the same services.
What was this, a roof clean?
This was a roof clean, yeah. And we've got our sort of minimum charges, and we can help out as much as we can around them charges. But
I do think roof cleaning is a funny one, because obviously we pump out videos all the time about being transparent about how we're going to carry that out, and a lot of people have come to us based purely on what they've seen, haven't they? So they're bought into us. We want it done that way. That's brilliant. But then you get others that are like, well, no, he can do it like 60% cheaper or whatever. Why can't you do it? But then sometimes, even like when we've seen it locally, we've actually seen people walking on roofs and doing all sorts of crap.
Those two guys literally opposite there. Do you remember that house? And it was on the roof, wasn't he?
Yeah.
With his pressure washer.
Just absolutely kamikaze. Do you know what I mean? He's only going to do it once because he'll be dead.
Yeah.
And that's the disappointing thing, is that you've got companies out there that feel that they need to. I don't know. Is that how they're making their money? Because they are just cutting corners, or it's just stupidity, in my opinion. I mean that's one thing we've always done is, well, we've tried to make the right investments, get everything done correctly where all the lads are trained and buy the right equipment. But it is disappointing when you are fighting that, isn't it? And someone else out there can do it at whatever 60% cheaper, but they're going to cut all them corners, which is risky,
But then, I mean, that comes with a job in that sense, because it's a case of, okay, sort of on to the next. Sometimes there's, some cases where you just can't you can't do anything, and it's frustrating sometimes when a decision is made before you've even had a chance to discuss it. Sometimes, it's great. You can, again, that's where the trust comes in, because if you, if somebody has potentially maybe got a cheaper quote, but then they trust us more, so then they want to talk to us. They're more transparent about other quotes they've got.
And you build up as well, wouldn't you, with so many connections, certain companies we've done certain work for, let's face it, because obviously we're proving with the work we've done with them, they'll only sort of come to us, wouldn't they? From your point of view, it's obviously trying to find more clients like that, isn't it? That's got the trust in us, that know they can say, I want X doing, we react to it, get the job done, and that's the direction obviously you're trying to take in what you do, isn't it? So,
but that's really, again, what we're talking about. Like, roof cleaning is one thing, but then when you get onto commercial connections or commercial clients, that's a different ball game as well, isn't it? Am I right in thinking that it's just more so about getting the job done correctly? I know it all comes at a price, and you've still got to watch what you do, but it's is it easier with that in that respect, or do you still find them challenges as much as you do in roof cleaning?
I mean, it's definitely about getting the job done right. Within their sort of time frame, just meeting all sort of deadlines and making it a smoother process for everyone. I think really we want a smooth ride for the lads. They want to turn up on site and do a great job smoothly. It's eliminating as many problems as we can get. We've sort of, it varies with commercial sort of clients. You can come up against more problems, but then equally certain domestic customers can pose the same sort of headaches as well. So, it's just nice. I mean, I was sort of on the phone to a company earlier who had been actually let down by their window cleaner. Don't know why. You hear it quite a lot. They either don't turn up or for one reason or another. And then it's when you get talking to them, we also offer these services. She sent through the details of this job in London to sort of take a look at, and it's just trying to build trust from the start. You know what I mean? You've been let down by somebody, but we won't. We can come and take a look.
Well, that's one thing about us, though, isn't it? Is we're like clockwork.
That's it.
How many times have we? There's a subject I want to come on to soon about acquisitions and buying other companies. So one thing about us is we're obviously ultra reliable, and whatever the schedule is, we're there on time. I mean, the great thing is where we've got sort of 18 vans on the road, even if we have sickness or we miss something one day, we're there the next, straight away. So, reliability and accountability for what we do as well. If there's ever a problem, we get it sorted straight away. And that's the great thing with the setup that we've got and the team that we've got and the size we are as well. So,
I think on that front as well, that's one of the biggest parts of it for me. We can have all these sort of inquiries and works ongoing, but it soon gets absorbed in the sort of machine because we've got so many vans and everything that, we're not at the minute booked up months and months in advance because, we've got so many lads that can do the work to a great standard quickly. We're quick to react. We're moving to jobs.
Well, and that's another reason why we're not standing still, because obviously we could quite easily go, okay, we've got X amount of work, X amount of vans, but we're a growing company. And because we're always growing, that means that we're always going to be, how do we say it? Like, we're not just going to have things booked up months in advance because we'd put a van on the road before that, wouldn't we?
As soon as we sense any sort of improvement work, we think, let's get more vans in. It's,
because obviously it adds to the turnover, it keeps things moving.
Of course.
We know that keeps the pressure up, but at the same time,
certainly wouldn't book a job in 2-3 months down the line because we want it in, we want it worked, we want it going.
How many times have we picked up a job where someone else couldn't do it for a month or 2 months?
Yeah,
and
of course.
We'll just shuffle things around and be there within 2 days or whatever it is. You know, it's that's one of the good things about where we are and what we've got and the team that we've got. So
I think that's something that sort of frustrates you, John, sometimes, in the sense that that's how we work, isn't it? It's like you say, you work so hard getting work in and you land it and it's like...
I blink and it's gone.
It's blinked, it's done, it's in, and it's like, right, let's go on to like the next week or whatever else it is. Because, as I say, in an ideal world, probably in your job role, you'd want to build, as you keep trying to do, isn't it? You try and get yourself 1, 2, 3 weeks ahead of yourself, but it never seems to...
It's great because it's just, for us, momentum.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that, if there's so much on the go at one time, it's brilliant because we keep moving with it.
Yeah.
I think things will calm down a little bit, though. I mean, that's because we want to be able to support you in that and give you the time you need to build them relationships, because, you know, you can't always just do it, you know, on the fly kind of thing and in a short span of time. But yeah, it's just trying to find that balance, isn't it? You know, so we're growing at a steady pace. We're growing, doing what we're doing, but at the same time, your foot isn't so much on the gas all the time. Do you know?
No, and I think that's just in terms of sort of my role in that sense. It's sort of self-led in that sense. You got to just try and do what you can and when you can. You know, it's about managing the sort of current contracts. But then also when I'm able to, not standing still and trying to find more and trying to sort of outbound and do some building that way, rather than just focusing entirely on what we're doing at the minute.
What's your plan? I mean, obviously we give you, I mean, you've absolutely smashed your budget this year. You smashed that by about August, didn't you, I think?
Mm-hmm. Let's get revised again next week.
But yeah, I mean, like you personally, because this is the great thing as well. It's not like we're dictating to you, boom, boom, boom. We discussed what we thought was a good target for you to aim for based on last year's performance, and then, but I know, you know, you're quite self-motivated as well to improve on that and to push yourself. So, where do you see yourself going before I tell you where you're going? No, I'm joking.
Well, just keep progressing the way we are. I mean, everything is going in the right direction. We're looking at bigger and better things. I mean, it's a broad industry in the sort of sales side of things, and it'll be good to, you know, develop more of a team around that. And there's so many avenues, you know, I don't even feel like I've touched yet in that sense. And yeah, it'll just be good to keep growing.
And that's what we want as well. Obviously, as we grow, we've spoke before, getting support with yourself, building a team, obviously, around you, you know. Obviously, you're trying to do all the online presence and bring work into yourself, but your day is just like that, isn't it? You know,
you don't stop.
You don't stop, do you?
But everyone, I'm not like, that's not just me. It's like that, you know, day to day. It's absolutely chocker with a lot going on.
Yeah. But it's just like certain things, hitting the phones, emails, whatever else, your time is absorbed very quickly, isn't it? And something we've been talking about, Steve, isn't it? Getting support in with Jon.
We still don't know what that looks like, do we? I mean, me personally, I still think someone like Jon, I mean, we've never really had, like we say, with Jon, he's come in as a sort of newbie, got to know the industry, and you've developed and grown within that. But for me, you know, I'd still like to look at a seasoned sales guy, you know, someone who's maybe worked more in the commercial sector than we're doing at the moment. I don't know. But then also at the same time, we have maybe spoke about getting sort of telesales people in. But then I don't know if that's old hat nowadays. I mean,
again, it's something we've not done, isn't
it?
No. So I think that's why we're forever going, you know.
But at the same time, you still got to think of the way that I'm kind of obviously angling the marketing, and the marketing is more about inbound marketing than it is outbound marketing. At the moment, we're still trying to find that balance.
Yeah, definitely.
And you've still got, you know, good stuff coming in, haven't you? Which is obviously a natural, organic feed, but we still believe there could be other ways of doing it.
They all still have their place. Like as I say, when I can, and you know, I try and sort of realign and try and make some calls. Like this morning, speaking to a random company that actually have been let down today or yesterday or whatever, and it's a case of...
How did they come in?
I was having a look online for companies in this area, and
that was a cold sales call then.
Yeah, so that would say I mean, ideally I'd like to do that most days, but it's just time management.
Yeah.
But where I can, as I say, it's just trying to tap up more people, and 9 times out of 10, like one of them was just like, well, look, we're sorted. We have been for some years. It's not going to change in a hurry, but thanks. But then the next one was, we've been let down. Here's the address. Can you give us a quote? So it's, you know, there's still a place for it. It's just having the dedication to do it.
Okay. Well, that's definitely something
and
we
his
can talk
ratios
about.
and numbers, isn't it? As you say, stay mate. But as you know, 100 phone calls to get 1 or 2 good ones, then obviously all well and good, isn't it? But again, it's just a lot of time.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what we've got to weigh up. Because as I say, from my perspective, I would like to think that, telesales isn't the way forward because we're building and developing the website side of stuff. But then, what would that company have done if
if you hadn't phoned them?
Yeah, if you hadn't phoned them, what would they have done? They would have been on Google. They would have tried to find someone else, and then hopefully we would have been in front of them anyway if it was a local thing because we've got good presence. So
yeah, I mean,
who knows?
But not necessarily not though. That's the whole thing.
This was in
isn't
London, the site. So
that was in London.
It was a Milton Keynes or around this area based company, but they serviced one down there.
Okay.
And so again, it's
they might have looked for London.
Some people might not realise that actually we do branch out that far. So
But yes, as it always is for us, everything's trial and error. We ain't
learning on the job for me.
And me, and all of us.
So I've been doing that for 20 years.
Do you know,
Every day.
But yes, it's just
we are just growing and growing, aren't we? In all different areas,
It's just all a lesson. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't, for
we're
1
just trying
minute,
to build
sit here
strength everywhere.
saying we know all the answers, but we are so far down our path that we do have a lot of answers, and we know a lot of things that do work. But always trying new things and just seeing how we can grow and develop that stuff. So but I think it'll be an interesting conversation at the end of the year when you see what your target is that you've actually hit, and then we can talk about next year. I'm not saying it's all right. Calm down.
Start sweating there.
Calm down.
The turn of a new year is always start again.
But in all seriousness, it's about what support we can give you, and like Chris says if there is other ways that we can, support you, bring more stuff in. It's not just the Jon show, and Jon's on his own.
You need to,
and it doesn't feel like that, to be honest. I mean, we've got that set up
got
between us.
For him, don't you?
Yeah, nice.
King John, nickel car space, everything of the unit.
Comes
to
in,
move me car,
hair flowing, feed out soon.
Yeah. You wait, I'll come in one day with it down, and you'll be surprised.
I'll run away, mate.
Swinging in the trees with his leopard skin pants on.
The hell's coming through?
George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle. Boom. On the wall. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Told you, porn star. Well, anyway. But yeah, moving on from the challenges and the stuff that Jon does on a daily basis and where he's leading, and obviously we're just speaking there about how we can support him moving forward. One sort of area that I've done many times is actually acquisitions and buying other people out. So this is one thing that we're actively looking for as part of our business growth, is to really look for businesses that we can acquire. I mean, over the course of like the last 20 years, I mean, I've only really bought it out on a small scale. So it could be probably about 10 or 15 times I've probably bought out different rounds, different work, that sort of stuff. I mean, within the window cleaning industry, that kind of goes on where it's not necessarily you're buying a business, you're buying a round. We're looking for more sort of businesses, and the businesses we really want to look for are sort of like £500,000 to £1 million turnover, maybe a bit more than that as well, because we believe that we're just set up for that, aren't we?
Definitely.
With where we're going as well, the amount of staff we've got, and as you say, we absorb work so quickly that we believe that we can, take that on, very quickly. So if there is anyone out there, that's serious about sort of selling, and if it is the right sort of fit, then reach out to us, because we'd love to hear from you. But so we've, like I say, over the last sort of nearly 20 years that I've been doing this, I mean, we've bought anything from sort of £1,000 a month sort of round to, I think the biggest one for me was the commercial one that I'd done. That was the biggest amount of money I spent. I think that was about 70-odd thousand, 80-odd thousand, but that was just buying some really sort of creamy commercial work. I think I explained that in the last podcast where I said about buying that out and then selling off my houses. But we bought another one in St Neots. That was, that was over 30, wasn't it? 30 to 40,000, something like that. So yeah, we're not, we're there to sort of buy work. But the thing is, for us, it needs to be the right price work, how we work. So obviously water-fed pole, so it's a good fit, and also
structure as well.
So price structure, how they pay. It's just if it's a good fit, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know.
of course.
But then again, we have taken a chance on some work that's been cheap, and it was a no-brainer just having a go and maybe losing 40% or whatever because that was that. But it's we're serious about sort of acquisitions and business growth. So like I say, if you know of anyone or anyone's out there with a serious business, and I don't know, you might be looking for retirement or you want to get out of the game, whatever it is, then please do get in touch, because we'd love to have a chat with you. Really, I mean, what's the future goals for RedClean? I mean, I know we said on the last podcast that we're not, we don't see ourselves stopping or anything, but I mean, we've got no exit plans or anything like that to sell or anything like that.
I know it's not at all.
I know the buzzword nowadays is that the only way you make money is by looking for a way out. But for us, it's as
it is today. It's just long haul stuff, isn't it? We are hopefully getting new premises very soon.
Yeah, I've just that's still in negotiation. So we are looking at new business premises that will be like sort of nearly 4 times the size. Is it 4 times? 3 to 4 times the size that we currently have. I mean, we're at bursting point with the current setup we have, and if I'm honest, I work from home. I've got a log cabin in the garden where 3 of us work from there doing the marketing side of things. These guys work from our current unit, which is about 1,500 square foot. But it's just a nightmare for parking, getting vans in. Equipment hasn't got its own place, and
it is.
It's just something that needs to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I say, we're going through something at the moment, trying to negotiate a deal. But hopefully we can get that over the line. But
we've sort of gone for it in that sense. It was quite, when you looked at the unit and stuff like that, what we're doing with the new units, like where we are currently today, is that we could have gone just a slight upgrade, couldn't we? But we haven't. We've sort of took a big step in it, really, haven't we? Where
the thinking behind it is that we took on the unit that we're currently in at the moment 4 years ago, and when we moved in there, we had it neatly in the corner, wasn't it? There was nothing else.
You sent a photo actually the other day, didn't you?
Sent a photo the other day, and it was just
looks all empty and stuff.
Yeah, because at the time you were working from home, I was working from home. We didn't really need an office,
storage, and filling up station.
But then within 4 years, we've got. I mean, how many staff now, office-based? It's probably nearly eight of us, something like that. So, the current setup we've got, you just can't operate. Everyone can't operate from there. But then all the vans and everything as well, and all the equipment, it's just, so we've grown that in 4 years, and we're superseding. So we thought about maybe double the size, but I believe potentially within the next 2 or 3 years we'd outgrow that. So we're looking to go into a space that's kind of 5,100 square foot, and we believe we could run 30, 40 vans from there if we needed it. So it's it's just more of the same, more growing and seeing where we can go with that. So obviously we're talking there about the end of the year, where you want to go, where we want to go as a company and stuff. But have you got anything interesting in the pipeline for the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks? Anything that you're looking at? Any things that are on the hook? Or
I mean, like I say, regularly doing these sort of visits. Like tomorrow, again, brand new sites, brand new sort of tenders. The main thing this time of year is obviously it's the lead up to Christmas. The weather's always going to be a problem, so it's just about getting everything in place and obviously trying to maximise our time. Any sort of inquiries or clients that have got stuff on the go, it's just trying to get as much in as we possibly can, just to keep things obviously moving. We don't stop over the winter. I mean, some people might just think because the weather comes, we just put our feet up and the lads don't go out. We don't stop. And
no snow, please.
Yeah.
Every morning wake up, no rain, no snow.
Rain's not so bad.
If it's torrential, that's of course, not like the medium, but if it's
constant, that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? But if you've got, even if it's a heavy shower, if it's there, it's gone, it's not a problem,
Cool,
It's that constant, like 9 hours of rain,
And as you say, snow and
Snow's a different kettle of fish. I mean, thankfully, touch wood, and I'm going to touch it all over. Last 3 years, we've not had any snow. We've had very minimal, but
saying it, man.
Stand at the unit. Snow, where's that come from?
I've never had it earlier than December. It's been a couple of Decembers, man. We've had. It's been bad, but January, February, So we'll all do the no snow dance,
But that for me, I mean, we've had some good work the last couple of winters and sort of through Decembers, Januaries. It's just obviously we don't stop and we can't have a bad month.
No.
So it's.
But the good thing is
we
as well,
keep
though, I
moving.
mean, you're still taking on another member of staff. Or,
Yeah.
So that, that's going to help as well, isn't it? Is that because we've got a new van coming as well? So that's.
We've actually had one leave, and obviously we're replacing one, so that's what's happening.
Okay, but you're not taking another one. But no, you
On
took one on
addition, we took
recently.
one on recently.
Okay, but that new van will be filled because we obviously at the moment we haven't got a spare van, have we? We'd like to run
Exactly.
with a
So
spare van.
yeah.
So it's so the new van will obviously come into the fold, but that all helps as well because obviously we're above and beyond with staff and vans where we need to be on our daily targets per man per van, aren't we? So we should be okay with that.
We'll be okay.
Yeah,
exactly that.
So just hopefully we've got a kind winter.
And that's the hardest thing. I mean, you could lose 1 or 2 days to bad weather. Catching it up is just very, very, very hard. Always try and obviously catch up, but yeah, it's just those horrible days, as I say, the snow, the torrential rain, and sometimes jobs where you're trying to line up, aren't you? And like the weather and stuff, and obviously you check everything, and then we're going to go there on the Monday, and then that can change, can't it, last minute and stuff? But
then again, from my point of view, that's why it's just a benefit of having as much work in place, booked in as possible, because then should something happen with the weather or anything changes, we've got work
we have
there
that flexibility, haven't we?
to work around it. Yeah, so just more of the same, and just keep moving with it. Really,
We've had a great October, though, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think the thing as well, though, I think we had
Very
24 days of trading, which has been fantastic. I think it's the longest one of the year. So yeah, of course, every day matters for us, doesn't it? But yeah, I can see we're on for a great month as well, and we're definitely over target where we need to be.
Definitely are.
Yeah.
I said it'd be good. Start of the month.
I know.
Called it.
Just make
Nearly
sure you
November now. Call
I was about
November.
to say, call November,
December, January.
and February.
Lightning don't strike twice, can't it?
That's why he's got long hair.
But no, yeah. So all good. But yeah, I think we've had a few requests to maybe share some more funny stories. Yeah, I'm not sure if you've got anything, but I can probably talk a few. Again, like I said last time, we didn't really want to speak about the ex-employees, but we seem to have had quite a few requests for it. So I suppose as long as I'm not sharing any names and that, it's fine. But I know one particular story comes to mind where I got an email one day from a commercial client saying that we've been charging them for not cleaning their windows. So obviously within our scheduling system, we'd cleaned it, we'd invoiced it, and that was it. So it went on for, I believe, about 6 months. And when we dug around a little bit, the tracker on the van was saying it was at the site that it was. Couldn't understand it, but when I spoke to the actual window cleaner, I mean, thankfully he was truthful, but when I showed him the street view and stuff, and I showed him the building, he said, "No, I've not been cleaning that building. I've been cleaning the one next door to it."
Close.
I was going to say the company name, but I know the one. Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey," and how the hell, that was going on for 6 months. So the building next door to the to the office
Lovely
block we were
windows,
clean,
nice clean windows.
got 6 free cleans out of us. But apparently, I said to him, like, "Have you walked in the door?" He said, "Yeah, I walked in the door. There were people in there. They just let him crack on and clean the windows." But thankfully, the client of ours, I mean, it wasn't. They didn't find it very funny at first, but once we obviously withdrew the invoices and said, we're really sorry and this is what's happened. Thankfully, they allowed us to continue, and we made sure that the correct blooming business was clean. But I still to this day don't know how that could happen. I'm sure it was 6 cleans.
He was getting a tea as soon as he turned up on the door.
Is he here
Lunch.
again?
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was quite a funny one. Can you must have had something with like a funny.
Can't think instantly. There's been obviously
customers.
Yeah, probably been loads, but nothing.
I mean, we've had a lot. Like I remember, like people going off their heads, like about certain things, and we've not done this, we've not done that, and I think I remember one where Rory went back to a place, and this lady was absolutely going mental. Her partner was just sort of going, "Don't look at me," and then I think we cleaned it, and then she phoned up later in the day and said she'd made a mistake and was very happy and paid the bill. But yeah, we've had, I don't know, like I say, I don't deal with that side of it, but I just thought
Sometimes the thing that always confuses me is communication between a wife and husband. You know, we've signed up new people before. We turn up and the husband's like, what are you doing here? And you're like, well, your wife signed up last night and stuff. And yeah, they just don't communicate, some of them, you know. So we still go ahead, do the clean. And then, yeah, Mr. Husband phones up and cancels because he knows nothing about, or he's booked another window clean. We turned up last week, funny enough, and another lad just cleaned the windows 2 seconds before we done it because he'd booked someone else in rather than, you know, obviously the wife booking us in and that. But
the amount of times I'll give someone a call, you know, I'm talking about a roof clean or you want a roof cleaning quote, bloke will just be like, what roof clean? And obviously the missus has signed him up the night before, deal with it, and he's like, oh, looks like we're getting our roof cleaned or whatever. But they're obviously not an easy sell. You now want a roof clean.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that sort of miscommunication. It's yeah, I'm just trying to think.
There's nothing stands out. Obviously, yeah, we deal with it most days. There's always stories in there on the phones and emails most days, but yeah, if I sat and thought about it, probably would be quite a lot of them. But
there was hedgehogs in the gutters the other day.
oh yeah, that was well no because we well done. I forgot about it. One of the lads has phoned up. We're on a gutter job. And he's turned up on the gutter job and he said, like, he's put on a work group. We've got like a work group. So there's 4 of us that deal with it and stuff. Yeah, he's put on a work group. He goes, can't do these gutters. It's hedgehog guards in the gutters. Yeah, the lady at the office has seen it. There's actually hedgehogs in the gutters. So she's phoned the customer. She goes, yeah. She goes, we can't do your gutters today. She's leaving a voicemail for him because I didn't answer. She goes, can't do your gutters today because there's hedgehogs in your gutters. One behind her, I'm on the floor, gone, lost, collapsed and stuff. And I was sort of trying to say, like, no, you know, it's hedgehog guards or whatever. And she deleted the voicemail, fortunately enough. But yeah, at the time, it was just hilarious, wasn't it? You know, can't do your gutters, there's hedgehogs in them, you know. And then that was it, I put the phone down. But yeah, it's gone. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant that was.
Good
I was on the floor behind. I was gone.
Good climbers now.
Yeah, word of the day that day was hedgehogs, wasn't it? Because every time I heard it, I was on the floor.
I remember Rory doing a like a warehouse clean down near Hemel Hempstead, and block gutters, water overflowing. He come back with 3 black bin bags full of tennis balls. It was just like a unit in the middle of an estate. There was no like tennis courts around or anything. And they just had just 3 big black sacks for the tennis balls. So I don't know how it got up there. He didn't know how it got up there, and that was that. It was fucking odd, you know. But yeah, but no, I can't. Yeah, I'm not sure really of anything else.
Hedgehog one's now got them going because that did tickle me that day. That was funny. I had a phone call the other week. I still to this day I don't know who it was. He'd phoned me up and said, do you do window cleaning? I said, yeah. He goes, what's your name? I went, Chris. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, will you be cleaning my windows, Chris? I was like, no, tried explaining professionally. We have a team of people that go out but he goes, I want you to do them, Chris. And I was like, it really set me off. And I was like, yeah, but trying to explain it professionally again. And yeah, what's it he said next? Oh, he goes, I want you to bring your long hose with you, Chris. Seriously. And I was like this on the phone. I was like that. Don't I tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, I did tell you. And I was just like, I didn't know what to say. I
just pick you up off the floor.
No, he goes, yeah, have you got a big head on the end of your brush? And I was just like random, like, you know. So look, obviously, I've done what you phoned him before, obviously a hoax call, whatever, trying to be professional, still don't know this day who it was. He was trying to, like, he was laughing, you could tell, we had his mate in the cars on loudspeaker and stuff.
Sure, we're Braden.
No, it weren't Braden. He had an accent, I can't remember what it was now, but he was going, but I really want you to come to my property, Chris. He's like, sort of like saying down the phone and like, you know, me being a Rodney, as you say, like I couldn't cut him off because I'm still like trying to suss out if he wants a window cleaning quote. But no, it's so random. And yeah, he made a few of those comments, and then obviously, yeah, I did cut him off, you know. He tried calling him back straight after, which obviously
did you sign him up though?
No, I didn't get to that stage. I was trying to.
Slacking, man, you're slacking.
But it's so random that was. I don't know. Still, I don't say who he was. If you've seen a video, or just because I happened to be like the one on the end of the phone, it could have happened to anyone.
He's probably watched the podcast and he fancies you.
I don't know who it was. It was just like, yeah, it's just the way he said it, and you could tell he was like trying to buckle. I was trying not to laugh, and then just like sort of cut him off and stuff. But yeah, the way he's been, some of the stuff he said was a bit disturbing, really. So yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this up. So I hope you've found this useful. Hope you've enjoyed it. As usual, please do, like, comment, share. We really want to try and sort of push these out. And we just love doing them. So this is the second one now, and hopefully many more to come. So just like to say thanks for Jon for coming and explaining his journey and everything to do with RedClean. And obviously again with Chris. Just hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.